edition of SolidNotes by DesignPoint. My name is John Shuey. I'm an applications engineer here at DesignPoint, and today this is Chapter 7 of SolidNotes, and today we're going to learn how to customize your SolidWorks toolbox for efficiency. So in customizing our toolbox, we're going to use the configure tool for toolbox to limit the configurations of existing toolbox components. So we're going to add sizes to existing toolbox components, and then we are going to efficiently add part numbers and descriptions. We're also going to look at how you can add your own components to the toolbox. So let's go ahead and jump into SolidWorks, which is, where the heck, there it is, there's my SolidWorks. Okay. So what I have here is just a simple part with a toolbox component in it, and if we jump over to the drawing, we can see I have simple drawing BOM showing the hole, this plate, and then the fastener that's in it. So if I jump back to the assembly, and I'm going to go into my toolbox, within the task pane over here in the design library, going to anti-metric bolts and screws, socket head screws. I'm just going to drag one over, and we'll go ahead and change the length to 25. And right now, we saw back there, on the BOM, there was no part number, or there was a part number, but it's, but SolidWorks came up with no description. So I'm going to click this Add button here, and I know in this particular case that part number is that, and this is an M4 by 25 long socket head cap screw. Go ahead and hit OK. We can see it gets added to the list, and I click OK. I'll escape here, and if I jump back to the BOM, we can see it adds that part number and description. So that's a real nice, simple way that we can add parts and descriptions. But if we have a huge list that we need to add to, that can be a little bit more of a pain in the butt. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at using the configure tool for SolidWorks. So the way that we do that is there's 3 different ways we can get to the configure tool. We can go to our tools and options. Under System Options tab, there's the whole wizard toolbox, and we can click the configure tool or a configure button to get to the configure tool. We also have the toolbox menu up top, and then we can click configure, or within our task pane of the design library, if I right click on a toolbox component, I can click and configure. And this is going to go ahead and bring up the configure tool for us. And in this case, for this particular component, we can see that there are 4,503 possible configurations. Well, I know we don't really need that many, possible configurations of this component, so I want to eliminate to get that down to a more reasonable number. So let's start down here with thread data, or actually thread display. And we can see there's 3 different types of thread display. There's cosmetic, schematic, and simplified. So what do those 3 mean? If we jump back to the part, and I go ahead and insert another component here. Let's make this something about that length. So right now we have the thread display as simplified. There's the cosmetic, which actually shows a thread display, and then there's the schematic, which actually is physically showing the threads cut into it. So the cosmetic or the schematic is going to be a lot more graphic intensive, whereas the simplified is just blank, and then the cosmetic is actually going to have to show something. So this is definitely the preferred method. So if I go ahead and jump back to my configure tool, I'm going to choose to get rid of schematic and simplified. So now it limits my possible configurations now to 1,501. So that's great. I also know that for my drive type, you can see we have a choice of spline and hex drill. I know my company doesn't use those, so I'm going to go ahead and eliminate those as well, and that brings us down to 518 possible configurations. Also, for the size, I know my company doesn't use anything bigger than M24, so I'm going to go ahead and eliminate those as well. And now we're getting down to a 405. So there, we can see it's real easy to just go ahead and limit the number of possible configurations for one component. What if we want to add something? So let's say if we go down our list here, and I'm looking at my M4s, and I have an 80, a 100, and a 120, and maybe I want a 110. So I'm going to go to my length. I'm going to click the Add New Size, and we're going to add an M4. That's 110, and we'll just say a thread length of 20, and I hit OK. And we can see that length gets added there in our 406 possible configurations now. So, that's how really very simple and easy we can limit configurations or even add some. So now let's say I'm ready to start adding part numbers and descriptions. So I know this guy is 68123441, and the description is an M1.6 by 2.5 long socket cap screw. Okay, so that's great, except that's going to take a long time to do all these 400 possible configurations, and it'd be great if we had a quicker way. So if we jump over here, we have the import-export button. So I'm going to go ahead and export all this data, and I'm going to go ahead and open up an Excel document. And in this case, we see all the same information. What I find useful is to, select all the cells and change them to a general there we go, to all general, and then so I can just do a drag and drop for this to start doing my part numbers, and then for this guy, what I'm going to use is I'm going to do a description based on this cell and this cell, so the size and the length, and I'm going to use a concatenate command. So I have this copied over here, and I'm just going to hit equals, concatenate. You can see it's using these two cells over here. I'll hit enter, and then I can go ahead and drag these two down here then. And there we go. So we have our part number all laid out for us, and then the descriptions are all there for us as well. So I can go ahead and hit save on this guy, and I jump back in here. I can go ahead and click on our import-export button, click import data. I'll click open, and we can see it fills in all that information for us. So a real nice, quick, easy way to get all this in here. And then the critical thing here, whenever we make changes, we need to make sure we hit the save button. So we hit that save button, and it's going to go ahead and save all those changes. So now if I go ahead and jump back into SolidWorks, and I bring another Toolbox component in, we can see up here it lists all the part numbers, all the descriptions, everything that we gave part numbers and descriptions to. We can even see, the thread display is now limited to cosmetic. The drive type is limited to hex. For M4 by 110, it's now a selection, that we can go in here and select that. So all that is there for us. Real nice and easy. Okay, so now let's talk about adding custom components. So let's say, I have a rubber bumper, and let's take a look at this guy right here. So I want to add this rubber bumper to SolidWorks in my toolbox, and what's nice is this is all kind of laid out in a nice table format. So we're going to look at adding all these configurations very quickly and easily to SolidWorks. And in this case, what I've done is I've actually already created a base part here for us, and what I did is I revolved this guy, and all these dimensions are based off of, you can see there's an A dimension, a B dimension, a C dimension, D, and E, and those all correlate to this as well. So, if I click on this dimension, you can see this is the A, this is the outside diameter, same thing here. This is the B, 3/16 overall. So all these are correlated so that when I go to actually, create the design table, which I've already done in this case, and you can see my other webinar that I did on creating design tables, I've already had these two configurations in here, and we can go ahead and edit the table in a new window, and we can see that the all the dimensions are listed here exactly how they appear in here. The A, the B, the C, the D, all that matches up exactly. So now, all I need to do is paste in all of this information from Excel. So it's actually really easy, quick and easy for me to just take all this information and copy it. And I can go ahead and open up Excel and paste it directly right in here. And then I can delete out columns I don't want, such as the price. We don't need that part, that one on the end. We don't need the quantity or anything like that. I can delete this one, and I want to reorder this one. Then we can let's see, cut, and insert cut cells. Nope. All right. Kind of being a pain right now. Okay. So now I can take this. I'll just move this over here and take that column and rearrange it and bring it over here. So through some, messing around, getting this all in the right format, what we end up with is if I close this guy out and I jump back to here, I will end up with a, nope, that's not the right one. There it is. I'll end up with a part with all these configurations where, I've gone in and, I've just finished this loading. You can see I have all the dimensions in here. I have the descriptions, and then what I've actually done is I use the concatenate to create descriptions and the name of the configuration as well, based on, these particular numbers. So all that information is here. So it's kind of a nice little quick way to get that all into SolidWorks, and then now I'm, ready to add this component to our toolbox. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to, let's see, I think we still have this guy open. Yes, we do. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this guy in the anti-inch. I'm going to add a new folder, and this is going to be called bumpers. And then I'm going to add a new folder here for rubber. And then I'm going to add file, and it's this guy right here. And there we go. So now it's in. So the thing that I want to tell you right now is we're not going to have the same kind of configuration options that we had, when we were looking at this bolt and screw. So the socket head cap screw right there, that guy right there, we have this window where we can change all these configurations. Like, none of that exists when we add our own custom components. But all this is actually controlled in the design table that we use to create this part, so it's not, a big, huge deal. So I've gone in, I've added, I can go ahead and hit save, and I'll go ahead and close that guy. And what I can do is go in here, go to our task pane, and let me refresh this guy. And there it is. There's the bumpers, there's rubber, and there it is right there. I'm going to drop that guy in there. And then I have all my possible configurations that I can use. And then, or there's the part numbers, and then I can select based on the configuration name. So if I want a 1-inch OD by half-inch height, I can go ahead and drop that in there, hit the green check, and then, works as just like any other Toolbox component. And that's about it. I just want to thank you guys for coming into the webinar. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for future SolidNotes webinars, you can send them to me at jshuey@design-point.com. And if you need immediate assistance, remember there's always our support at design-point.com email as well. All right, thanks for attending.